All right, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Rice Crypto Show. I am Rice Crypto, and today I am joined by Bitcoin Ben. We're going to have a discussion about all things cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, talk about the future, talk about the revolution that's coming. And the reason I wanted to bring Bitcoin Ben on today was because of a campaign that he's talking about on Facebook regarding George Soros. Now, before we get into that, Ben, do you mind kind of just giving everybody just a little brief history of kind of like who you are, what got you involved in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Uh, Basically, I was an entrepreneur who actually got out of the entrepreneurial business because of the governments and the entities that had corrupted and put roadblocks in that made it almost impossible to run a profitable business. And and now I'm a truck driver. I'm a truck driver by choice, not out of really necessity. Uh, and cryptocurrency wise, a lot like a lot of people, I uh, I heard of like cryptocurrencies and actually Bitcoin in about 2011, early 2011, maybe 2010. And I think back then it was $1.80, and unfortunately I didn't pay attention. I just wasn't smart enough to actually catch on that early, I guess.
Right.
And over the last few years, I've actually done more research. Over the last few years, I've invested in cryptocurrencies, and over the last year and a half is when I really came to appreciate the revolutionary aspects of cryptocurrency and how it really is not only cryptocurrency but blockchain, how it is probably the largest revolution that humanity has ever had.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
So that's who I am, and that's why I'm in it now. Not so much for the money. I mean, the money's nice. Luckily, me and my wife are pretty blessed. Where and we're kind of very simple people. Like I never want a Lambo. I don't care about Lambos. You can't really haul hay in a Lambo.
Right.
And so I'm in it more for the revolution and the freedom, because we're all slaves. It's just most people don't recognize that our actual chains are made out of paper. And that is the currencies we use. If you want to control a population, you have to actually control them using one shared entity.
Right.
And we all share currencies, and that's how they control us.
No, I agree, man. I did an interview with Lynette Zhang just last week where we talk about things like this. So if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to check it out. And so I actually came about, checking you out and hearing about you a couple months back, probably, I want to say late November. You were doing a bunch of Facebook Live stuff. And from that point, I started following you. You started speaking more truth. You started speaking this revolutionary thing, which I really totally agree with. Now, when I first got involved in cryptocurrency, and I think a lot of people, they do get involved in it for the monetary purpose. And, that is what originally got me into it. But then when I started going down the rabbit hole and like really, really seeing what this was about and looking at the technology and seeing the revolutionary aspects that you're speaking of with the blockchain technology and Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other different cryptocurrencies, then it kind of changed my mentality. I look at the monetary part as kind of being the icing on the cake, if it ends up taking off the way everybody's speculating. But like you, I'm in it for the change. And it's going to change things for us in our lifetime, but it's really going to have the effect that we're wanting to see on the generations that are going to come after us. And, that's what's really, really awesome about this technology. And the other thing that I was asking you to kind of hold off before we started doing this discussion, where we were talking about our political views, because I think we both identify in the same area, as a libertarian, as an anarchist, as a voluntarist. You want to talk a little bit more about that so people can get an idea of where we both come from, where you come from, where this angle of revolution that we see in the blockchain and Bitcoin and crypto is taking us?
Yeah, sure, gladly. And I'm probably going to go a lot more deep than most people go. Uh, I link it with the meaning of life. It's life, your life, and also my life revolves around our happiness. Right? We are put here, whether you're religious or whatever, however we got here, we were put here with the ability to be happy. And happiness is linked with choice. You have to have choice in order to lead your life towards your own happiness. And in order to have free choice, you have to have the lack of consequences to yourself from any entity of power. And what I mean by that is that if you recognize that any law or regulation that exists that does not have a complaining victim should not exist. Because if there is not a complaining victim, then there is no crime.
Right.
If,
It would be non-violating, basically.
Exactly. Whenever they write a law that says that you can't smoke marijuana, well, that law is completely void in my eyes because there is no complaining victim. And the problem that a lot of people have with freedom is they are worried about unexisting consequences to themselves. They think that if someone else is free, that eventually they could make a choice that could somehow maybe in the future kind of sort of lead to affecting their lives in a negative way. Well, having that mindset actually puts you in jail in your head. You lock yourself up in your own illusions of what you think might happen. And I think that is that's what the powers that be use against the general population to lead their tyrannical march towards tyranny, and that's what I am completely against. And the point of all that is one point. You are the only person who can actually control your happiness. Happiness is a point of view. That's what happiness is. Here's a quick little story that will kind of help you understand why I think like I think. All right, my grandfather had a picture in his house that I never really wrapped my head around. It was a picture of a Jewish person in a concentration camp, and it hung on his wall for years. The odd thing is that the guy looked horrible, was slender, just completely covered in dirt. He was actually behind a fence, looking out of the fence, and he was smiling. And for years I walked past it, never really giving it a second thought. And then one day my grandfather and I were sitting there not really doing anything. And I asked him about it. I said, "Pop, what's up with that picture there? It's kind of creepy." And he said, "Well, this is how I look at it. If that guy right there can smile with the type of life he has, why can't I smile about mine?" And that right there really kind of showed me that happiness is all in how you look at your situation.
Oh,
Are
I
you
agree.
positive or are you negative?
Yeah.
Because in any room you walk into, you can either find a positive or find a negative. It's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
And unfortunately for us, the education system that a lot of us were raised in has transitioned away from teaching us to critically think, which basically means question everything, and has actually transitioned into teaching us to actually memorize. And when you memorize and you don't question, then anything you're told by an authority, you don't question, you just try to remember and regurgitate.
Yeah, and that's being conditioned. I mean, that's
Programming.
yeah, programmed, conditioned, and what you're talking about is us reclaiming our self sovereignty. You know, for us to be responsible for ourselves as individuals. Under natural law, which is a great concept. And that's how we should be.
That is another great topic. The difference between natural rights and civil rights. Right? What a lot of people don't understand about the the Civil War. Has anybody wondered why they called it the Civil War? No war is ever really civil, is it? And the reason that they did was that war was needed in order to lead to the reconstruction phase. The goal of that war was not freeing slaves. If you read what Abraham Lincoln said, slavery was only more of a marketing campaign than really anything. And his goal and the goal of the other entities that were around at the time was to create a concept of issued rights, which they called the civil rights. Well, that was a transition away from, prior to that, there were natural rights that you were born with. They could not be taken away. They could not be infringed on. They reflected the rights of every single natural creature.
Exactly.
And those natural rights were actually linked with, if you read the old writings of the older revolutionaries, they linked natural rights with your instincts, the reactions you're born with naturally. And what has happened is over the last 250 to 300 years, and if you want to, we could go a lot further back. But
Yeah, good.
I'm referring to more of the American environment. Is we've transitioned away from natural rights that are naturally recognized in every human and transitioned into a civil right, which is protected and granted from the federal government. Now, that is the complete opposite of what I agree with, because every human, black, white, gray, yellow, I don't care, has a natural right and has natural rights that the government does not grant to us.
No, and they're all the same rights. They're not different based off of who you are or what your colors are. They're all equal.
Absolutely. And now The problem that a lot of people have with that is they love their freedom, but they question other people's freedoms, and that's where the governments and these entities, that's where they have their hooks in. They have convinced a group of people in this world to resent other people's opinions and actually look at other people's opinions and rights as hateful. And hate is such a flagged word nowadays. Everything is cultural, and if you want to change out culture and use even almost like tribal, everything is tribal, and each culture and each tribe has evolved into what they believe, their traditions, their heritage, and the powers that be at this point have encouraged others who hate other people's freedom and almost and want to outlaw others' freedoms in certain areas. And I completely disagree with that. And this is going to sound kind of bad, but you really have to hear me out when I say this.
Okay.
All right. Racism is not illegal. All right. Racism, I think, is stupid. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's pure ignorance, but it should not be illegal. All right. Racism is a choice of preferring one race over the other. Whether it's logical or not is not up to me. It's in their head. It's their leading themselves towards their own happiness. And if their head is twisted where racism makes sense to them, hey, more power to you. But the key to that, in order for that freedom to exist, you have to have individual rights that are protected using a shared agreed upon document in a country. If you're going to have a society, everyone in the society has to agree that everyone else's rights are equal and the same as theirs.
Right.
So although that racist is an idiot, I think so. I would march for his freedom or her freedom to say what they feel.
Yeah,
Because
I agree, dude. But and you got to take in consideration too. Now, these people choose to just have a viewpoint that's different. But when people take their actions further and it becomes violent or it infringes upon other people's rights or makes people feel threatened, then obviously that comes into play with these agreed upon rights.
Not the feeling of being threatened.
Okay.
Action is the only thing that should break laws. All right. If I'm yelling at you what you think are hateful words, that's not illegal. All right. Hate speech is absolute bullshit. Excuse my language. All right. Because I've had conversations with people and I have said things and they look at me and say, I'm offended. Well, the question I always have for them is, prove it.
Right.
And they kind of freeze and they go, what do you mean prove it? And I go, prove that you're offended. And they're like, I just told you that I was offended. And I go, oh, so your words tell me a fact. And they're like, yeah. I go, well, if I break your leg, can you prove that your leg's broken? Yes. Okay. Well, your words prove nothing. So words, it's kind of like the old, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Right.
It.
I understand what you're saying now. I get the idea.
Yeah. It. I am truly the absolute freest minded person. I want more freedom. I would rather live. I would rather freely live in a dangerous world than safely live as a slave.
Right on. That makes sense. And obviously, I mean, you're a man of controversy, and I want to get into that in a minute. And what I'm talking about is the Facebook stuff that just happened recently. So I want to let everybody know that Bitcoin Ben has his YouTube channel. So make sure that you are subscribing to both of our channels. We are working within the same community, trying to bring the same message to help people out. Like this video, share it with your friends and family, share his content. Now you can check them out on Facebook, and for now, and I say for now because it seems like your content has been, I guess, irritating or upsetting people within the corporation of Facebook. You want to talk a little bit about that, and then the George Soros thing?
Yeah, sure. I want to lead a revolution, and it's reaching a point where a lot more people are agreeing with me, and so that the people that watch me and the people in the revolution movement are getting larger and larger. Where I think the powers that be in the mainstream media and also now on a lot of these social platforms are trying to quiet us down using shutting off our channels and all that. And yesterday when I did my video, I said some pretty controversial things, and I kind of put out a plan of attack against George Soros, which I'll explain here in a minute. And then all of a sudden, after I post my video, about 10 or 15 minutes later, just long enough to watch the video, I could no longer post on Facebook. It was really weird because I couldn't write on my own page, but I could read everything on my page. I could click links to other pages, but I couldn't actually post on my own page.
Yeah, that's when I was trying to reach out to you. That's when I found that out.
Yeah. And luckily for me, and of course I won't use any names or anything, but there's a group of people who work at actually Facebook that are friends of mine who apparently they figured out how to undo whatever was did, and they sent me a little message, and they're like, all right, you're good, go. And all of a sudden I could use it like it was not like absolutely nothing had happened. So,
but Facebook itself, they didn't contact you to tell you that they were blocking you from doing anything or giving you any explanation?
Nope. Okay. There was no. It was whatever was done was it happened so quickly, and it was so precise on how they did it. It was almost like they watched the video and then they disabled the how I post, and that was it. Everything else was working, but I couldn't post.
And they've been messing with you though for months. Like,
oh yeah,
they didn't want you to keep doing videos on your personal page. They want you to create a fan page, right? So this is not like it just started. It's almost like they're trying to silence you and mess with you in a nice way, trying to fuck with you.
Absolutely. And I think what they don't understand about us libertarians and us revolutionaries, you know, we don't quit. You know, if you put up a wall, we jump it. If you come at us, we run towards you. You know, we don't run because that's not our mentality.
Right.
We, and as you said earlier, you know, I see that most of the people on this planet are slaves without recognizing the chains. And what I want to do during my lifetime is I want to either completely destroy the slavery system, if possible, I hope so, or at least move humanity more towards freedom before I die, so that my children live in either an absolute free world or a closer to free world.
That's awesome, man. I'm on the same page. I'm right there with you.
Yep.
And I think more people need to wake up. And it's up to people like you and I to try to do as much as we can to be an alarm clock and wake people up and get them to see what's going on and just realize, even if you're not involved in cryptocurrencies, just wake up and realize what the hell is going on around you. And like you said, critical thinking, they don't teach that to you in like basic public education systems. I'm a full-time student. In college, they do encourage that. Obviously, it's something that they push. And really, that's kind of like the first time I ever had anybody teaching me that. I've had that mentality, but to have an instructor, a teacher tell you to use these skills was definitely it's awesome, man. And it made me think even more, and it made me become more of a critical thinker. And the more you question things and the more you think you find out the truth, the more that you realize it's just deeper and deeper and deeper. And that can be like a completely different long discussion. But with what's going on with this Facebook thing, something I know that you're doing is that you've gotten on Steam it. I don't know if you're utilizing DTube yet, but I think that we need to, as a community, start utilizing these things. I've been considering just deactivating my Facebook along with Instagram and just going more with decentralized routes, keeping my YouTube account because it's a way to the masses, but eventually phasing out of it and utilizing DTube and DLive more. There's sites like minds.com. I've heard of MeWe and a couple other decentralized social media platforms. So I'm going to look into these things, and I encourage you to do more of it. So that way, if something happens on Facebook, you have more avenues to be able to get your voice out there, because I think the things you're talking about are very important. And unlike other YouTubers, I don't think a lot of YouTubers are willing to even talk about a lot of these political things or economical things because they don't want to come off as being too controversial. And what we need is more people to be controversial and to keep it real and to educate people of the absolute truth of what's going on. It's very important.
Oh yeah, and I understand what you're saying, but I'm not leaving YouTube and I'm not leaving Facebook until the people do. The largest platform in the world is actually Facebook. Whether you like them or hate them, that's where the people reside.
I think YouTube is technically bigger. I could be wrong.
Oh, is it?
I think so. I could be wrong, but they're both huge.
Right. And I'm not leaving there until because I see the world as an intellectual house of humanity. And what I'm actually doing is I'm recognizing that the house is on fire, and I'm trying to pull as many people out as I can. And I view it as, if that's my mindset, then I actually need to go to the largest rooms in the house that have the most people. And if every time I touch the door, it's hot and I run away from that room, that's just leaving all of those people in that room to catch fire and die. And I'm not willing to do that, whether they kick me off or whether they try to silence me or whether they do anything. I don't care, because it's humanity means more to me than my life. And my life is already halfway over. I've had a good life. I have kids who are grown. Well, I have two of them that are grown, one who's almost grown. And I'm not going to quit, ever. Now, for those of you who watch my videos, you know sometimes I get emotional. Well,
Dude, it's because, and this is one of the reasons why I really was drawn to you, man. It's because you love people. You know, I love people. I love you. I love you for what you're doing very much, man. I appreciate you standing on the soapbox and screaming to the masses. You know, we need that more, and I love you for that, brother.
all right, hey, I love you too, brother. I love you because I know that you're linked with me. We're not separate. We we're all linked.
Yeah.
Whether you're a religious person or whether you're a woo-woo person or whatever, what everyone can basically agree on is we are linked energy. And
We are linked consciousness.
Well, see, that'll take me down another hole.
I
That's
know,
who
I
you need
know, I
to
know.
go for. But it's really, there are people on this planet that I don't know if they're broken because of whatever happened to them in their childhood or whatever happened in their lives. They're broken and they have an evil view of other humans, where maybe they see the other humans as useless, or maybe they see them as
No value. Yeah, I see.
exactly no value, or like lost causes. I don't see
Not. Yeah, nobody's a lost cause.
exactly. It's emotional, and I think that anyone who's ever loved someone and truly loved someone has the has the has the ability to apply that love over all of humanity. And if you do that, if you look at your life as not just as you, look at your life as how are you making this world a better place for everyone else, including you. You know, it's really at the end, and at the end of my life, nothing's going to matter except what I did in my life. You know, I mean, you aren't going to be laying on your friggin' deathbed and go, gee, I wish I would have got that promotion. You know, what you're going to think is, damn it, I'm leaving this world, and did I matter? Well, I want to matter.
I feel you, dude. I'm right there with you too.
I keep these close.
I started this thing called Practice Change, where I talk about the concept of us being able to learn every day from every experience that we encounter, whether good or bad, positive or negative, and how that we can learn and grow from that to become the best us that we could be. And that all real kind of stems from like teachings of Jesus and Buddha, and it's just excellent teachings and philosophies, man. And I really stress in what you talk about. I think I'm on the same page with you here, but we all need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And when we talk about, or when I talk about love and loving other people, where that starts, most importantly, where some people don't get, is with yourself. Because we can't truly love other people or receive love if we don't love ourselves. And that's usually, most of the time, people who are angry and have that negative vibe don't have that love for themselves. And those are the people that we need to have more love and compassion with. And those are the things that I'm trying to practice more, that I'm trying to get better at, trying to be a better human being. Because we can't just talk about these things. We need to walk the walk. As Ric Flair would say, don't talk the talk, walk the walk. So I'm in North Carolina, so I'm in some Ric Flair country. So, but that's so true. We need to walk that walk, and we need to be that example. We need to be that change. We can't be hypocrites. We have to love everybody, and we have to want everybody to have the same equality, the same equalness, and those natural laws, natural rights. And I think it's a beautiful thing, man. That there's no reason with you getting upset or getting emotional. That's awesome, man. It just shows the genuineness of who you actually are, that you're not trying to pretend to be somebody. You're not on some fake mission. This is who you are. This is who I am, man. And that's what is drawing people into what we're talking about. That's what gives us this ability to be these alarm clocks to wake people up.
Exactly. And well, we could walk down a lot of roads. Let's actually focus on George Soros and the Rockefellers and everybody who recently announced that they're getting into cryptocurrencies. Well,
yes,
that's great. Welcome, my friends, if you're my friends. But if you come to cryptocurrencies and you try to inject or corrupt the freedom part of cryptocurrencies, I personally I will make videos, I will start campaigns, I will do whatever I possibly can to crush your agenda if you come over here trying to hurt the freedom part of cryptocurrency. Because cryptocurrency is the key to unlocking the chains. And the people that are now getting involved, or I think have been involved for quite some time, these are not freedom-loving individuals. And these people have a global agenda that is anti-human.
Are we talking about a little bit about the digital currency group?
Oh yeah, the digital currency group.
Would you include that entity in that grouping of people who are not good for the space of cryptocurrency ultimately?
I would say there are people involved in the digital currency group that have a proven record of not being on the right side of freedom.
Okay.
I know that. There's one woman in particular that I don't like the things she's done in the past. That would be Blythe Masters. For those of you who don't know who she is, she basically has trapped the silver or helped trap the silver and gold physical market in at the illusionary prices they're at now. And I think that the digital currency group, along with other entities in the financial space, are now trying to create the same trap for cryptocurrencies. Now, the problem they're going to have, and this is where I shift from crying to gritting my teeth, because just because I'm a libertarian doesn't mean I don't like to fight.
Right.
I love a good fight.
There's a time and a place for everything. You have to defend yourself.
Absolutely. And these entities and these groups that are moving towards, and I think have been moving towards cryptocurrencies for a while now, it really started last year whenever cryptocurrencies were really taking off. And they recognized that people were getting involved in cryptocurrencies, and cryptocurrencies were receiving a lot of attention.
Right.
Now, the CME launched their futures last December. Right. If you remember at that time, and you remembered when they announced they were going to launch their futures, it was hurried. They were in a rush.
Yeah, it was like within a month.
Exactly. And anybody who's ever worked in a corporation, especially any corporation linked with the government and regulations, nothing ever moves fast unless it is absolutely critical to the system. If there's a threat to the system, they move real quick.
Or if it was planned.
Yeah, or if it was planned, but I think that cryptocurrencies are a weapon that can be used for good or bad. Let's look at Ripple. I think that Ripple's absolutely a piece of crap.
It is.
Because it's not really a blockchain, and it is because if it isn't decentralized, then it's only a digital ledger. That's it.
Well, I mean, now it is a blockchain. That's not a cryptocurrency. It is a blockchain. It just isn't a cryptocurrency. And oddly enough, I've actually been hearing some weird rumors that people are thinking about doing ICOs off the Ripple blockchain, which I think is absolutely the worst idea that any ICO could even consider. Period. Definitely stay away from anything centralized or controlled.
Yeah, that's the key. Anything you invest in, because remember, your money is a weapon. What you put your money towards is what will grow. All right? What you take your money away from will not grow. So if you believe in free, I don't care if Ripple's the last cryptocurrency in existence. I will never own one, ever. I don't give a crap if I have to move my family out to the country and hunt every day in order to feed them. I will not buy Ripple. If they try and force me, fuck you.
Right.
You know, I won't do it because you mentioned Jesus a while ago. This is only a brief, jump off.
That's fine.
Whether you believe in Jesus or not, he shares a personality trait that I absolutely love. Is the never give up. It's the Braveheart attitude. Where no matter what you do to me, no matter how many times you hit me, no matter how many times you knock me down, I will get up. You want to hang me on a cross? Go ahead, you son of a bitches. Because what mattered and what he knew mattered was not whether he lived or died. It was whether the message lived or died.
Right.
And and as for waking people up, not everyone's going to get woke up. That's okay. We don't need everyone awake. We need about 8% of the global population to actually be awake in order to lead a global revolution that will completely destroy the old system. And the old system will die because the old system died the day they issued a fiat currency. Cryptocurrency.
That's when it started to die. And then I think, like in my interview with Lynette Zhang, when we talked about it in 2008, that housing market crash, that was pretty much the end of our economy and the global economies, especially the US. But we've been on life support, and this banking system is basically a zombie banking system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing holding up this economy and global economy is the inflation that is injected into the system. It's like a blood transfusion from every central bank in the world.
Right.
And what they're going to do, what I think they're going to do, is I think they're going to try and actually use blockchain, and they're going to try and integrate a blockchain system that leaves them in control. Well, that's the key. Decentralization is
Right.
the key to everything. You have to keep and involve yourself in the decentralized currencies, like Litecoin, like Bitcoin. And even with Bitcoin, there's a war on for Bitcoin. There's been a war on for Bitcoin for quite some time now.
Yeah.
The Lightning Network is a project that is led by the digital currency group.
Right. With
And,
MasterCard, I believe.
exactly. MasterCard is one of the major financial contributors to the Lightning Network. Well, just because Litecoin and just because Bitcoin are used on the Lightning Network doesn't mean that Litecoin or Bitcoin's bad. It's exactly because Litecoin and Bitcoin are just tools. You know, it's like an axe. You chop down a tree, it's good. You shove it in someone's head, that's bad.
Right.
It's how you use the tools. Now, during this war, if you're just in it for the money, I would invest in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, maybe even Bitcoin Cash. Because each side of this war are going to use those tools. And who wins the war is really which direction and which exchanges and which wallets and which nodes are used by the general public. Do they choose a centralized, like, you know, Ripple, or do they choose a decentralized, like Litecoin?
Right.
You know, it's really, and luckily for us, the message is getting out more and more. Every wave of new adoption in cryptocurrency is led by greed, right? The people hear about it because of the money. The greed, and, or if you want to change that word from greed to self-improvement, you know, or whatever, we all have it. That's what leads the people in. But there's a percentage of that group led by greed that when the prices drop, everyone who's just greedy, they go away. But there's a percentage that hang on and hodl. Those are the people that once they were led in by greed, they started to educate themselves.
Right.
And they learn blockchain. They learn the movement behind cryptocurrency, and they're no longer holding it just for the monetary gains. They're holding it for the revolution. And every wave in and out of cryptocurrencies will accumulate more of those revolutionaries. And once we hit a certain level, that's when it goes parabolic. And not just in price, but in revolutionary power, where once the revolution reaches a certain point, people and entities will no longer use the US dollar. They'll use Bitcoin. They'll actually create their own cryptocurrency economy that will grow as more and more people use that. That's why I joined the Litecoin team and the Litecoin Foundation, was because I learned that they were focused on adoption and not price.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I'd actually like to get involved.
Oh, I can gladly hook you up, brother.
Awesome, man. Because I'm definitely a big, huge supporter of Charlie Lee and Litecoin and the vision of the future.
Yeah, so the adoption rate, and when I say adoption, what I mean is the the companies and the individuals who will exchange in cryptocurrencies and leave out the old system. That's what I mean when I say adoption. And the adoption rate's growing every year. It has since 2009, you know, and it's, as it grows, it will snowball, because cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrencies are not winning because of force. No one's walking up and putting a gun to anybody's head and saying, hey, buy Litecoin. You know, what it is that it's an economic choice that is preferable to the fiat option. It is deflationary, which holds your value that is transferred in it from labor. Your labor held in Litecoin will grow in value, where your labor held in the US dollar will lose value.
Right.
And people like me who get on and do our videos, and like you, we explain why cryptocurrencies are good and why they will take over, is not because of any reason other than it's a better product. It's a better product than any currency ever created by man. It's better than gold. It's easier to transfer than gold. It's digital. You don't need to leave your house and go pick up a coin at a local dealer. You hop on the internet, you either actually purchase it through an exchange, or you purchase it through another trusted individual over online, over your phone, however you do it. It is, cryptocurrencies will win just like email beat the hell out of snail mail. It's efficiency of exchange of information or value.
Yeah, they call that creative destruction in the business world.
Absolutely.
That would be like when CDs came out and took away cassettes, and then eventually MP3s come out and take away CDs. So this is the creative destruction that is going to take away that old system, that old dying system, the fiat system, and get us into a new age, a new.
Yep.
And it's crazy how, like, in a weird way, this is like bringing certain groups of people closer together as humans.
Absolutely. How I see the future is there's going to be many different currencies. Now, there will be entities that you can use to actually pay with. Like, the major ones that will be used as currency is actually Bitcoin, Litecoin, you know, Bitcoin Cash, whether you like it or hate it, it doesn't matter. There's a group, there's a community that likes Bitcoin Cash.
The Asian people in particular are very, very Bitcoin Cash.
Right. And they're also Litecoin. You know, they love Litecoin too, probably because of Charlie Lee. You know, it's that goes back to the tribal thing. And the reason I like Litecoin as much as I do is not because I like the logo. All right. It's Litecoin technically and economically is the most economically smart current cryptocurrency to exchange in or hold in your wallet. All right. Litecoin is cheaper. It's quicker. It's available to a larger amount of the general public, and it's accepted at almost as many places as Bitcoin, and they're slowly catching up. So that's what gives currency value, is the usage of it. It's, if you have that's why the US dollar is the #1 global currency right now, because it's used in more locations than any other currency. Well, Litecoin, their drive towards adoption has more momentum than any other currency out there, any other cryptocurrency. And if you look at the adoption rate this year of Litecoin, it's outpacing the adoption rate of any other cryptocurrency in the world, any other currency in the world. There's more places and entities accepting Litecoin every month than is accepting the US dollar, is accepting Bitcoin, is accepting Bitcoin Cash, any of them. Litecoin is blowing them away because of the efficiency and the transaction speed and the network, the number of nodes, the number of wallets. It's economically and structurally superior than any other cryptocurrency out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Charlie Lee took the Bitcoin code and improved upon it. And that's why he always looked at it as a complement to what Bitcoin. I don't believe he's ever had any intention for Litecoin to ever overtake Bitcoin per se. They were to complement one another. And that's kind of the concept with the Lightning Network. A lot of these atomic swaps is the pairing of the two. So, you can see that. So a lot of people missed that opportunity to invest in Bitcoin when it was really inexpensive, like me and you, because we just didn't grasp it at the time and got in at a more expensive price. But people have that opportunity to be able to capitalize on the future of Litecoin if they look at Bitcoin, because they are pretty much identical. Even if you look at the chart history, it's almost like looking at the same thing, like little brother.
Let me tell everyone from an insider's point of view from Litecoin, the plans they're making, the relationships they're building. Litecoin is your second chance at Bitcoin.
Awesome.
And as this grows, as Litecoin grows, when the mood of the cryptocurrency community changes from a bear market to a bull market, get ready for Litecoin to blow the socks off of every other cryptocurrency out there, because there are triggers waiting to be pulled as soon as this market goes bullish. And when it does, Litecoin is going to jump, and it's going to jump quick. And the adoption rate with every jump will double. It will double every time it jumps. And because you have entrepreneurs know one thing, that you will accept any form of payment that has a communal acceptance of value. All right. So Walmart. Oh, hang on a second.
There you go.
Walmart. If I lose you, that means I'm losing bad for here. Walmart will eventually accept Litecoin and Bitcoin. They will. I 100% guarantee you they will.
Because, I know they will, because if they can just cut out a certain percentage of their credit card fees internationally, they're going to see like exponential profits overall.
Watch for Walmart creating their own Lightning node. That will happen, because the Lightning network is the replacement for the credit card network. When you swipe your little card, that little box you swipe in is hooked up to a network. The Lightning network is the replacement for that. And awesome. all they'll have to do, all Walmart will have to do, is start a Lightning node. And they will be able to have plugins on the Lightning node that will adapt with their point of sale program, that all they do is update their program. There's the Lightning offer, or the Lightning option, And you'll have a Litecoin card originally that will help transition the community and the world who's used to using cards. You'll swipe your Lightning card, and it will recognize it as the Lightning Network, just like your card. When you swipe it now, it recognizes that it's a Visa or a MasterCard or a Discover card. This all logically makes sense
No,
if
that
you
is crazy though, man. When you say it like that, that's so insane that they've got this kind of like technology set up just to basically plug and play, and all of a sudden it just like goes into their system. They don't really have to do anything to really
it's
change. That's
the
insane.
absolutely the Lightning Network will be an app. You just download it. That's it. And these companies will have apps on their point of sale. That's it. And that's why this is going to go, and it's going to go quick when it goes. That's why the Rockefellers and the George Soros' piece of craps are joining in.
Okay, now since you said that, just in case I do lose you, I want to talk a little bit about your campaign with George Soros. Can you, I don't know if you've thought about everything you said exactly in that video. I don't know if you've seen Bix Weir's response to what you said.
I have.
I kind of agree a little bit with what Bix is saying, and I wanted to talk with you about that because I think as a community, we all need to come. I understand your intentions, but we need to have more numbers to do what
Yes,
you want to
yes.
accomplish.
All right, we're actually going to walk upstairs so I can plug in my phone so I don't lose you.
Awesome.
I actually saw his response, and I have an answer to his response. I launched the idea yesterday, and I understand what he said. He was like, well, Ben's only got or there's only been like 3,000 people that has watched that video 3,000 times $5, all that. And I'll tell you what, Bix, I love you to death, brother. Love your show. Love your Road to Ruta. Watch them all the time. But when you launch, there we go. When you, hang on a second.
I love that cartoon picture, by the way.
Oh, thanks. When you launch something like this, when you launch it, it's small. And if the idea grows, and if the idea is a good concept, it will naturally grow. And what I want Bix to understand is that I put that message out because I want people to either join it or help me move it forward.
Right, because like for example, you want other influencers to get involved. So if Bix was on the same page with you, he could get his following to join in with what you're following, and people like myself can get our followings, and then we all come together, and then we get those numbers and those dollar values to make a difference in some of these plans you're talking about. Because that's definitely, I do agree with Bix in that aspect that we do need to have more people. It needs to be systematic and planned, and it's got to be a lot of money, and it's got to be a lot of people. But I agree with you at the same time that there is a way that we can do this to take control back of your We Are Bitcoin campaign and in the manipulation and in central banks of having control of something that was made for people like us, for the people.
Right. And the goal of this campaign is to spread awareness that the enemy just pushed in a Trojan horse into our castle. And I understand what Bix means when he says that you cannot actually beat them at their own game. But I don't agree with that. I think that
you got to fight fire with fire sometimes.
Exactly. And whether or not this actual campaign destroys them, right away or in a year or in 2 years or just slows them down. It's a fight. You know, when you're in a fight, sometimes you know you're not going to win, but damn it, I'm getting in some punches, you know, and
you're gonna know I was there.
Right, exactly. Like, look, you may beat the hell out of me, but I'll tell you what, brother, you're absolutely going to know I was there, and that's my mentality. That's how I look at everything in life. Is is if you walk into a fight and you've already told yourself you can't win, well, you might as well walk right back out, brother, because you've already lost. You know, and what I'm trying to do is rally the cryptocurrency community. And it doesn't have to be this campaign. What I'm saying, and if you watch my show, I say this a lot, you know, just do something, fight. Don't just sit there, you know, talk to people, tell them about cryptocurrencies, host a meetup, you know, do something. If you're just sitting there on the sidelines hodling, then, you know, are you really in the fight?
Right.
You know, you aren't. And I'm that message is basically, I know not everyone's going to join, but I think that the people that have my mentality and share my mentality will join that movement and improve that movement, because that's what humans do. Whatever we have passion in, we improve. That's just our nature. And I'm the type of person who will walk into a room full of bad guys and I'll throw the first punch, knowing that every one of them son of a bitches are going to come at me. Well, what I'm hoping is that the people behind me who agree with me will see that I'm getting the shit beat out of me and go, you know what? Let's help out old Benny boy.
Right.
You know, and I don't mind getting the shit kicked out of me if what I was swinging for and what I was really in there fighting for was a just cause. And I can't think of a more just cause than the cryptocurrency soul that we've been creating for the last 8 years, because cryptocurrency community has a shared soul. And now we have these soul-eating motherfuckers that are trying to come in and eat our soul. Well, right. I'll tell you right now, brother, you got people like me that will break the beer bottle and say, fucking bring it. And whether I lose or I win is irrelevant to me. What matters is that I fucking pushed the fight a little bit in our direction. And that's how I think. That's how I feel. And I'll tell you what, Bix, I love you to death, brother. If you have an idea that will improve my concept or replace my concept, hey, I'm all about ideas and letting the best idea win. Whatever you come up with, brother, if I agree with it, and even if I don't agree with it, and you think it'll work, I'll advertise the shit out of your idea. I may not think it'll work, but hey, fucking run towards it, brother.
No, I totally understand what you're saying, man. And I mean, I think that like the importance of a community coming together and trying to have some consensus among each other is definitely important. And like you're saying, I mean, somebody else might have a better idea. It may just be some oddball person, but we need to be proactive. And that's what you were speaking about. It's just not sitting on the sidelines. You know, it is good to hold your coins. I mean, we definitely encourage people who don't know anything about trading to hodl your coins. But at the same time, yes, be proactive. Tell your friends and your family about cryptocurrency and how it's going to change people. Do these meetups like you're doing. You got a meetup coming up in a couple of weeks. Is that?
Yep.
You want to plug that real quick?
Oh yeah, it's April 21st at the Hot Shots on Manchester out in Baldwin, Missouri. If you live in or around or anywhere close to St. Louis, Missouri, look me up. I have a link on my Facebook page. It's an invite, And if I will be sharing that over and over again on my YouTube and on also my Facebook, and it's at it's April 21st at the Hot Shots on Manchester in Baldwin, Missouri, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Really, whenever you want to show up, I will be doing about an hour talk on like cryptocurrency, and then I'll be doing a question and answer. There will also be other people from St. Louis that are very influential in the cryptocurrency space locally, also there. And it's just going to basically be a meet and greet, kind of shared community, really have some chicken wings and beer, and really be able to talk one-on-one and in groups with other people that like projects you like.
And that's happening more and more. I mean, the Philadelphia has their meetups. There's meetups in different parts of California and San Francisco, San Diego. So, I mean, I'm actually trying to coordinate something here in the Winston-Salem Triad, North Carolina area myself, because I think it's important, like we were talking about, to be proactive. Dude, I really honestly appreciate you taking the time out of your days, you spend with your family when you're not working, to do this little discussion, because I think it's really important to let people know that we are a community and that we need to come together and that we need to be a part of this revolution, and that everybody needs to figure out what they can do to help bring about this change. So I would actually like to talk to you, about maybe doing some more content together, because I think that we're on the same page, and I think it's a good idea to have some dialogue so that you can have some more things kind of coming out. And so I definitely like to talk to you more about that. But before we wrap things up, is there anything that you want to share with the audience before we call it a day?
Yeah. I want everyone to reflect on themselves. I want everyone watching this, I want you to think to yourself of what's important to you. And I want you to really understand what you're involved in when you're involved in cryptocurrencies and blockchain. You're involved in a revolution that's going to change the world. These are the years that you're going to tell your grandkids about. These are the wars that you're going to tell your grandchildren about. Your grandchildren are going to look up to you in a way that you can't even imagine yet, because they're going to be living either in shackles or they're going to be living free. And right now, you have the power, you have the voice that can choose that world for them. And just as I told other people, you need to be the Girl Scouts of cryptocurrency. You need to talk about cryptocurrency like Girl Scouts sell cookies. If you have to hang out at the local Walmart and hand out little flyers and go, you want to buy some cookies? Crypto, you do what you can do, and stay positive. Don't be negative. Negativity is the cancer of humanity.
So true.
Get out there and kick ass. You are better than you've ever known. You're an amazing human being that has capabilities that I don't even think we've ever really tapped into. And get out there and kick ass. And if you'd like, watch my show. If you don't like a truck driver with a speech impediment, I may not be for you.
Yeah, I definitely encourage everybody, man. Check him out on Facebook, because he does these Facebook Lives all the time, pretty much every day, like Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's on YouTube, Bitcoin Ben. He's on Steemit. I'll have links down below for ways that you can reach out and contact him. So I encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Please like, please share, because obviously there's a lot of valuable content in this video. So Ben, again, I appreciate it. Look forward to next time. Ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, anarchy, it equals freedom. I love you all.
I love you guys.